So this is James's Gym Jams here, and this is where the whole nightmare of the Edge Pro started. So at this point I was absolutely cacking my pants, thinking, what the hell am I going to do? I just wanted to let you all know that I've got a different microphone, so the audio is going to go a little bit rubbish in the next clip. But anyway, without further ado, here we go. So today, my uncle has shown me how to take this bugger apart. It's not that easy. I will just show you quickly. We're taking all these saddles apart in the Trem. And if you're interested, this is what it all looks like. So these are the saddles. Sorry, let me just get in focus. There we go. And this is a genuine 2003 Ibanez with a ebony neck. And these are actually really, really rare guitars. You can't get them with these systems anymore. And if you did want them, it'd be a cheap little knockoff version. Obviously, it means a lot to me, this guitar. It's a very sentimental object. And you can see all of my uncle's playware on it, with a gold stag coming off. It's a beautiful guitar, it really is. It's been a very nerve-wracking thing for me to take this bugger apart. But long story short, I had to get at some screws that were just underneath these saddles, so I could get this trem block nice and tight, which obviously it is now. There you go, made in Japan. So that was original for one of the Fujian factories, I believe. Anyway, I'm waffling now. So long story short, I'm back to square one. I had this thing set up beautifully with 10s, and obviously the issue we were having was this was clipping on here and slipping up and down and doing whatever the hell it wanted to do. And the issue we had with that is if this little blade breaks, like this is like sort of irreplaceable in my mind. So I need to basically get it back to its original string tension. These guitars, they're supposed to be strung with 9s. My uncle told me that he had them on 9.5s and had the trem balanced really, really nice. It's been a few years since he's actually played this guitar with everything going on, but the trem was definitely the issue, which I finally figured that out with some know-how of my uncle. My uncle has like lived and breathed this guitar for, 15, 20 years, and he knows this thing inside out. I'm by no means a professional luthier, so I'm just going to share my little journey with you guys. But look at the state of that thing. If you're like me and you appreciate guitars, like, what an absolute work of art. And yeah, it's a cool little bit of kit. And I think I need to do it justice and get this thing set up playing nice again. So that's the task. That is what I am on with. I thought I'd give you a bit of an update, show you that. So today, I'm waiting for some new strings to come, obviously, because I usually run on 10s. And I'm just going to give this thing a proper clean. It doesn't really need much, but it's one of the original ebony necks, and it's a really dark ebony. Like, it's literally black the whole way through. It's gorgeous. So I'm going to take some time today, saturating this in some lemon oil and just making sure that wood doesn't crack. I still even, another little feature about this guitar that I love is these little scallop frets here. I'm not sure if they even do that on the new versions. I'm sure the PIAs, I think they might have them. If you don't know what a PIA is, that's Steve Vai's more recent version of this. And they're all beautiful. I don't know if you've seen the black and gold one, but wow, what an absolute gorgeous guitar. I would like to buy one of those eventually. I don't need to anyway. I've got this thing, and this means a lot more to me than any other silly guitar I could buy. So I'm probably going to take you along on my journey, make a few little shots of what I'm doing. Obviously, off camera, me and my uncle have spent a bit of time just getting this all all sorted. And we're hoping that getting this nice and tight on this trem block now should be able to level out the guitar nice and get this thing playing buttery. And hopefully you appreciate this kind of content. And whether you do or don't, that doesn't bother me. This is me just documenting my journey, fixing something in my eyes that is priceless. And as you can see, I've got some beautiful lemon oil here. This is the Dunlop 65 stuff. I absolutely swear by it. If you've got anything that's ebony or rosewood, it's actually probably the best stuff you can get, in my opinion. Not to say, as again, I am not a professional. Anyway, this stuff's dead easy. You just literally slap it on and away you go. Get off the excess after a minute or so of it soaking in. And it should saturate your neck very nicely. It smells lovely as well. So I definitely advise getting some of this stuff. A bottle of this will last you, God knows, 10 years, unless you're doing it every single bloody day. So yeah, I'm probably going to speed this up, but here's me doing that. So this neck that you're looking at is a 2003 Ibanez Jem. This is a Steve Vai signature. It's made out of ebony, dark ebony, and they actually stopped producing these because the wood became quite rare and expensive to use, and they swapped these out for rosewood necks. So this is, quite difficult to get hold of. All I'm doing at the moment is just throwing a little bit of this stuff on it, which is the Dunlop 65 Fretboard lemon oil. This thing will make the guitar saturated. It's gonna help it in its longevity of its life, stop any sort of frets, stop the fretboard from getting damaged, all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. So it's a good opportunity while I've got the guitar in this state without the trem on for me to give this a proper good go over. The inlays are a Tree of Life, and that is a Steve Vai thing. He brought that out with the RG series and with the Gems in particular. He's got Flow, he's got Evo, and that's basically what this guitar is modelled off. This is his signature guitar. So I'm not going to go too heavy with the lemon oil. This stuff is not too bad as well because it's steel frets, so I don't think it's a problem if you do get it on the frets. But I mean, you can all tell me below whether that's right or wrong. Excuse my fat little finger. But we all love a little fat fingering, don't we? Anyway, I'm just going to take the excess off this. Make sure all the frets are saturated. Oh man, this stuff smells absolutely lovely. You've got to be careful not to get this on any of the body or any sort of, electrics, things like that. But it shouldn't be really too much of a problem if you do. I don't know if it's picking up very well on the camera, but this thing is absolutely gleaming now. And these inlays, they're made out of Abalone or Abalone, I don't know how you call it, which again is quite an expensive material. So I just feel very fortunate to own this guitar and to be able to call it mine. And it's worth more than its weight in gold, to me anyway. This is literally one of the most beautiful instruments I've ever played and ever will play. So anyway, thanks for following me along with this little segment, shall we say. I'm just going to give this some sweet, sweet loving, and I'll catch up with you all in a little bit. So this is just a little bit of a glamour shot. As you can see, the inlays are absolutely gleaming right now. The guitar's in immaculate condition. It's 22 years old, My uncle, this was one of his prized possessions, and I'm honoured obviously that it's now mine. But yeah, just look at the state of those inlays. So cool, man. The neck's looking great. I can't see any big cracks or anything in it. I can't see anything bad. It's been really well looked after.
So I'm using my proper microphone again here. This video was recorded in portrait mode because I am stupid. But I'm just sort of showing you the parts, showing the saddle, and obviously you got the wiggle stick coming up and all the screws and crap. Yay.
Dunlop 65, guitar cleaner and polish. Absolutely brilliant stuff. You guys probably already know this if you're watching this video. But long story short, this is pretty good for anything. You just got to mind your electrics so you don't tarnish it or anything like that. A couple of squirts and off you go. You get this in there, work it in nice and buff it up. This can be used on pretty much any body type. You can use it on, you know, the back of your neck, things like that. If you've got lacquered necks, and try not to use it on any exposed wood for obvious reasons, because exposed wood would just soak it up, and that's not what you want. You want to be treating wood correctly. Otherwise, you can end up with a whole barrel of fish of issues. But this thing, anyway, 22 years old, literally not got a scratch on it. I think it's got one little tiny area somewhere. There it is. Where is it? There it is. That's the only chip it's actually got on the thing. The rest is just natural wear and tear, you know. Yeah, you don't need to see me buffing up a body. You've probably seen 1,000 videos doing that. So off we go. So again, with the Dunlop 65 guitar polish and cleaner, I'm just giving the guitar a little once over on the lacquer on the back of the neck just to take any sweat and any bits of rubbish and whatever off it. You can see here on the headstock, I've got some lovely Gotoh locking tuners in gold, obviously. And these things are really, really nice. They're smooth. Don't really need any like locking tuners themselves because this is obviously using a floating trem system. For any of you who aren't aware, this here is a monkey grip, and it just makes it a lot easier to pick up the guitar. You've got the PIAs, which are obviously, as I mentioned earlier, in either a previous video or this same video. The PIAs have got similar sort of thing, but it's sort of like a floral pattern. The PIA versions of these, which were brought out more recently, a couple of years ago, they were designed by Steve Vai's wife. I mean, they are a little bit girly, if you want to call it that, but I think they look mega, especially the black and gold one, man. Like, wow, what a beautiful guitar. Anyone fancies giving me one of those, that'd be lovely. Obviously, I can't imagine that happening. But you never know. It's always worth asking, isn't it? You don't ask, you don't get. For you tech heads who are well into this stuff, these pickups inside this guitar are the Damasio Evolutions. And you can see a little bit of slight yellowing on the center single coil one. Obviously you've got a humbucker, single coil humbucker. They sound absolutely ballsy, man. Like, it's got a little bit of gold on there as well. Very nice. But these things are so versatile. I wouldn't say they're as great on clean tones as, like, you know, a Fender would be or anything like that. This is literally a bit of a shred demon. But you ever want some really ballsy pickups that are absolutely insane when it comes to high gain tones? These bad boys, they'll do that for you. If you ever see them aftermarket or sold as spares, I would highly recommend them. My other go-to pickups currently, really enjoying the bare knuckle pickups. I've got some True Grits and I've got them installed just up there in that bad boy. That's my Nick Johnson Schecter, for all of you who are wondering. But yeah, pretty good stuff. So the saddles on this are currently just loose. I need to set the intonation on it, probably when it's back in the body of the guitar. And the intonation is the space between the tremolo and the neck of the guitar. And basically all that does is keeps everything intonated. Wow. But no, what that means is it'll keep things in tune when you're playing. So when you're playing a chord or, you know, playing a few things can go out of tune if these guys are not set to the right heights. And this is going to be an absolute ball ache to get this done. But luckily for me, my uncle has a picture of how this bugger was set up. So I'm going to take a little bit of time and try and get it sort of close to. And we'll see how that goes. I don't know if you guys can tell me as well. Obviously, I think you're supposed to have the strings going through this area here, and they'll catch in these little red divots here. I mean, for me, I tried that when I changed it over to 10s, and it was all right. It was cool and everything, but the strings were just poking out the sides, and the ball ends were just all over the gaff. So I think I'm going to do what my uncle used to do with this thing. Obviously, he's got the most experience on it. I'm just going to trim the end off and throw the ball end in there, tighten up these things, and we should be good to go. So here goes nothing. I've left it sort of as it is for now. I can do the setting up of the saddles later on. I'm going to drop this bad boy into its area where it belongs. So sorry I took you out. And as you can see here, maybe you can see, this is a floating trem system. You're meant to be able to go deep into the body and far out as well. When you set this bugger up, if you want to set it up nice like I do, you're supposed to have the blade in between these little saddle posts here. And again, I mentioned earlier on, the blade is this bit and that bit. Meant to have that in these little grooves on this here. So I'll do that now. You can see it already feels like it's slipping for me a little bit. I don't like that. Try not to move these too much, because this is what raises and lowers the action in the long run, because it brings the saddle up and down. And it was set up pretty sweet until I started messing with it. Woohoo! So any road, I'm going to flip this part over now. Being really gentle with this thing, because it really means a lot to me. You can all laugh at me if you want and do whatever, that's cool. Well, this is mine, not yours, so fuck off. I'm gonna have to probably do that off camera. So this here, which you're all probably well aware, is known as the claw. Don't really know much about them other than, you know, you attach these little springs to them like that, and then this would go into these areas here. And what that does is it creates the tension on the trem. Best way, in my opinion, to keep the claw nice tension on your lovely floating trem would be to keep the claw as straight as possible. And you adjust that with these screws here. So you need more tension on these springs. You're going to screw these in towards the neck. You need less tension on these springs. You're going to screw them out. Now, there is a sweet spot with this, and I'm sure I will find it, but it's not going to be easy. But yeah, if you are planning on setting up some sort of a guitar like this, and they're all very similar, you can have it janky, you can do whatever the hell you want with it. I mean, it's your guitar, you make it yours, man. But I'm going to go for 3 springs in this, take it back to the original state it was in, and where's my other spring? There it is. Take it back to its original state, because I actually swapped this out for 5 like an idiot. And I'm going to try and keep this as level as possible to make my life easier when I'm setting it up later. Whoopsie. I thought I'd just do a little bit of a demonstration of what this actually looks like when you take these saddles out. Why the hell not while we've got the camera out? Sorry if I keep going out of focus. I just record these videos on an iPhone 15 Pro. And I am using cinematic mode. Not like I'm exactly making a movie for you, but Anyway, I'm going to leave that one in. You can see here these little screws. These are what hold your trem block on. And I'm 100% sure that the issues I've been having with this guitar, especially after speaking to my uncle, is because these have just loosened off over time. I mean, you've got to remember this thing's like 23 years old. And you can see they're definitely chewed up a little bit. It's been done a few times, but it's got to be done, hasn't it? Yeah, I mean, you should never really be scared of taking these things apart and figuring it out if this is, you know, yours. Because, I mean, that's the best way to learn with these things, isn't it? You take it apart, and if you're like me, just have a good bloody go and don't be afraid. But it's easier said than done, because when you've got an object like this that is really sentimental to you, you don't want to break it, do you? Then I could probably explain a little bit more about this trem, or what little knowledge I have got. But these here are your fine tuners. And because I'm basically taking this back to, you know, its original state, in my opinion, these things, obviously you tighten it one way, it'll tighten it. And you tighten it the other way, it'll loosen it. And that'll just give you your fine tuning. It's probably better to just have these screws just marginally in, because as you go along and as you're putting your strings in, you're going to need that give and take, aren't you? A lot of these guitars, once they get locked off on the locking system, which is this bit, once that's all locked off, your bread and butter generally is going to be tuning up with these bad boys. So you want to give yourself as much play as possible, don't you? And this might be quite interesting for you guys, and it might not be. But this video is more for me. It's more for my uncle. And it's just to document a process of what I'm actually doing. There'll be some real, you know, guitar buffs out there who are probably watching this and thinking, what the hell are you doing, bro? And that's fine, you know, I'm cool with that. You got anything to say about the process that I'm doing, any advice? I'm a really approachable guy, and I really appreciate anything you've got to say on it, really. Good or bad, because how else am I going to learn? Yeah, that's the trem when it's all sort of put back together. All I really need to do now is tighten these little screws a little touch once I've got it set to where I want to get it set to, and that should be all sort of locked in. I'm going to drop this back in and do just that. I thought I'd just change the view up a little bit. I know it can get a bit boring. So off we go. Let's do this thing. I'm procrastinating because I'm shitting my pants. But sometimes you just got to shit your pants, haven't you guys? I suppose while I'm doing this and messing about, I can tell you a little bit about myself. My name is James. I've just recently started a YouTube channel named James's Jem Jams. I've got a beautiful little daughter. She is just over 3 weeks old now. And she is currently my world. And always will be, obviously. But I find it really hard to balance my time right now and make YouTube videos and do this sort of stuff. You know, this is my passion. This is what I love doing. I love guitars. I love spending time with these instruments and just figuring them out. So, any road. Let's just pop that there. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm going to start making a few little like family vlogs, things like that. If you guys are interested in that, I don't really care if you're not, but as I say, this channel is not for everybody else. This channel is for me. This is just so I can document little stages in my life and look back at it when I'm old and decrepit, if YouTube's still a thing. Anyway, this is an absolute pain in the ass, and it shouldn't be this difficult, but I am not the smartest geezer. I'm also quite distracted by telling you little stories about my life. Let's just concentrate on the goddamn guitar, shall we? So as you can see, I've just sort of popped that in place for now. And what I'm going to do is Have a look at my little trusty toolkit here. It's just a like, little cheap thing off Amazon. But it's got all my essentials in it. You know, got your fret rubbers and your bloody blahs in there. And your bloody blahs. So there's a couple of reasons that this guitar's, you know, really sentimental to me. I have never had official guitar lessons. I've always been self-taught off YouTube and from watching videos and good friends, really. But the person who has really invested the most time in me and helped me along my guitar journey, if that's what you want to call it, is my uncle. And obviously it means a lot to him that I enjoy these instruments as much as he does. So it matters to me that this works well. It's quite nice, really, for my uncle to sit back and watch these videos as well, because this is his passion too. And I may be doing everything wrong right now, but let's just do it, man. Let's see what happens. I'll pop that in there. See, already I'm on a bit of a panic station because I'm like, am I doing this right? Well, fuck it, man. Let's just go for it. Let's see what's happening. Yeah, you're just sliding out, aren't you, man? Let's take some of that away. All I'm doing now is I'm loosening the claw. I'm basically putting no tension on this thing. When I get the strings on this, there will be a noticeable difference. This claw and this block are going to be working in conjunction together, and this block's probably going to be pulled back, giving me the freedom that I need to do my stuff, to do my bendy wendies with my whammy bars. So anyway, I'm hoping this is just going to hold that into place now, which, one of my springs fell off, yay. Anyway, 2 are on there, that's fine. The point I'm at now is the point of no return. I just need to check that these 2 little saddle posts are doing what they should be doing, which is I should be in the groove with the blade. Already, I mean, I can feel the tension. Now this is dropped back because it's got the springs at the back and there's no strings pulling this forward. So that's where I'm at. I need my strings now. I'm just going to call this part 1. I'll show you my face while I'm at it. Ooh, look at that, that's a nice amp, isn't it? More about that later. Anyway, I've been James's Gym Jams. This has been a sentimental guitar vlog. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, you didn't. Sweet. Take it easy, guys, and thanks for your time. Part 2 probably will be whenever I can do it, because balancing my baby with my other baby really isn't easy. But yeah, thanks for following along, and I'll catch you for part 2.
So I just want to say a few things before I close this video out properly. This is Editing James speaking, and I recorded all this about, I don't know, 4 weeks ago. I have got the strings for the guitar, and I'm at the stage of, you know, getting it all set up properly for you. So if you made it this far to the end of the video, I really appreciate your time, and if you didn't, I mean, that's whatever, innit? But yeah, just thank you for watching, thank you for being patient, and hopefully the next video that I produce will be a lot better quality, as I'm learning as I go. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I can't say thank you enough, so thanks. See ya. I'm just going to close it out with a quick blooper, because why the fuck not?
Ooh, I don't like that. That ain't good. Uh-oh.
The words of wisdom here from our guys. That genuinely really helped. Nice one, bro. Thank you.
Tighten them up as tight as you fucking can.